dan i dobrodošli u našu prvu, to jest novu epizodu novog podcasta Generalna proba. Danas se nalazimo u Hrvatskom narodnom kazalištu Ivana plemenitog Zajca u Rijeci i upravo smo u jednoj maloj prostorici u jednom prostoru koji se zove Zajčić, što je meni jako simpatično. I danas ovdje imamo s nama našeg prvog gosta, Valentina Egela, koji je ovdje u Rijeci već nekoliko godina šef dirigent Riječkog simfonijskog orkestra i glazbeni ravnatelj opere Hrvatskog narodnog kazališta Ivana plemenitog Zajca ovdje u Rijeci. Tako da za početak sad ćemo imati jedan mali razgovor s njim. Hi, we have some questions for you. So, can you tell us something about this Manon Lescaut? I'm sorry.
Yes. No, that's
No,
wonderful.
it's fine.
Yes, it's usually pronounced originally actually French, Manon Lescaut, but because the title is written by Giacomo Puccini, one of like the most important Italian composers, especially of opera, you can also pronounce it Manon Lescaut, because when the name of her is sung, because it's Italian, the Italians don't do this French diphthong, Manon, but Manon. So you speak it as it's written, Manon Lescaut. It is for Puccini a very important opera. He wrote some other huge pieces that most people who know something about opera will know. Tosca, for example, or La Bohème. For some others, maybe Turandot you will know, or Gianni Schicchi. Manon Lescaut is, so to say, his breakthrough opera. Mm-hmm. So before this, he was already a very good composer, young, and as most composers, looking to have the breakthrough. And for him, this piece was the breakthrough, and it made his name suddenly really famous. And from there on, he really had a wonderful career with, I think, a pretty nice life. And he gifted us with some amazing pieces, and this is definitely one of them.
Can you introduce our audience to the theme of this opera?
Yes, so as most of Puccini's operas, it's an opera about the female hero, the heroine.
Nice.
Yeah. Later, people like Tosca, such incredibly strong women. Manon is a very different Puccinian character. It is a woman who is torn. She's trying to find the right way for her life, how to live her life, and it's the sad stories of how decisions put you in can make your life go in maybe a direction that is irreversible. Mm-hmm. So she, in the beginning of the opera, is on the way to a monastery because it was decided that she will go to a monastery. So that's her set destiny. You have to actually know this. To catch this in the opera is difficult. You have to really read those subtitles very carefully to get that. So I'm telling you now. And then her brother actually thinks that might not be the right thing for her and sets her up. And she meets this tenor in the beginning and likes him very much. At the same time, there's a very rich guy who can offer her all the luxury. Mm-hmm. So she's already in the first moments of this opera, you can see this inner conflict. What does she go with the love and where her heart goes, or does she go in another direction that maybe also her heart is leading her to, which is luxury and a very rich life? And at first she goes to that rich life, and later realizes while she has all this luxurious life in Paris, wonderful dancers are coming in and out, musicians come and try to entertain her, and she realizes she just gets, over time she gets bored by it. And actually she's just missing that romantic affair she had with this tenor in the beginning. And he appears, and eventually she flees with him, but wants to take some of her jewelry that she got from her rich lover. She wants to take it with her, and then she's convicted of the crime of theft. and actually has to be exiled. And then she's sent to a ship to America, which back then was really wasteland and is really pictured as wasteland in the opera. And the tenor gets onto the ship with her actually in last moment, and and in the last act they strand. It's of course all poetic exaggeration, but they strand in America in the wasteland and can't find water, and actually she dies.
Oh.
So it's a really hard end, harsh end, but as always with Puccini, put in such beautiful, touching, wonderful music that for the audience it's more an opportunity maybe to reflect on these things and enjoy the music regardless, be touched, be taken by the story, and to identify and not identify with a certain characters of the opera.
So
Yeah.
it's not really a happy piece. It doesn't have the happy ending we want.
No, this is one reason why many people like opera, I think, because it's often not a happy end, but a tragic end, which makes us feel maybe
More
our life is not so bad
Yeah.
compared to hers. No, it's not a happy end, really not. It has happy moments. It has moments of true love, of true joy. It has the typical opera moments in the beginning of like lots of people on stage, of like some party mood maybe, and then it has the moments of absolute deepest emotion, of really the depth of the feelings, pictured in music together with singing, acting, dancing. Yes, we have this beautiful moment which where two of our wonderful dancers are dancing a scene to this. There's one very famous musical piece in it. It's an intermezzo, that means like in between piece. And during that music is played, these dancers are somewhat the symbols of the tenor and the soprano, of Manon and de Grieux. And it's a beautiful moment in the evening. I think the audience really liked that very much. Yeah.
What was it like to work on this opera? How many hours did you spend? Do you know the amount of time you did it?
Well, that is not so easy to say, because obviously it's a long process. As soon as you know what we're going to do Manon Lescaut, you start working on the piece already. I don't know, a year beforehand. You know it's decided what's going to be the repertoire next year, and then you start getting to know the piece. This piece really was not in my direct repertoire, so it was very new for me. That would be different with something like Tosca, for example. And then, but then you have time and you just do it a little bit. It's like, technique of like a spiral. You get closer and closer and more intense, and towards the end of the process, it's really every day, as much time as you have, you spend on it. And then, of course, in the rehearsals, we rehearse this really intensely, weeks and weeks, with the stage director, and then with the orchestra, first with a pianist, later with the orchestra. So this whole process is a wonderful, beautiful process, and in the end, it's always like a little miracle to see it then all falling into place together on stage.
Did you take part in the selecting process of the singers and everybody? Like, did you choose this person is going to be my main role?
Yes, I mean it was almost the other way around. The main cast in this piece is Kristina Kolar, nasza nacionalna prva, and it's almost like more a choice. This is a piece for her to choose an opera that is chosen for her, because of course she has lots of admirers in the audience who want to see her in a role like this, and also for her. I mean, she did this already times before, and she's wonderful in it. So that was clear. It's going to be Kristina Kolar.
Okay, can you tell us something about yourself, about your childhood? And you have always been into music and into that world. How did that start? Why did that start?
So yes, it's true. I'm born into a musical family. My father is a violinist, and his parents were both musicians. On my mother's side, there are several musicians. So music was just like part of growing up for me, and kind of a second language to the mother tongue also. So it was always around. So there was lots of opportunities to be in direct and close contact with music, and I very early on fell in love with the piano first of all. I still love this instrument very much. I love all the other instruments as well. Yeah, then I had some violin lessons. I was in a boys' choir, and so, yeah. And I don't know, early teenage years, I really, really fell in love with all the symphonic repertoire, and so, and the will grew to become a conductor in order to be able to perform these pieces. And then during studying conducting, and so actually only then, I really became also an opera fanatic is maybe the wrong word, but something like that, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, music is just something that came naturally into my life, but it was never something that was forced onto me, which is really great. That happens sometimes in musical families, that the parents really want their kids to become musicians, but I am the youngest of 8 children.
Ooh.
So, and all my other siblings, they are all very musical people, they're all very artistic, but I'm the only professional musician in the end, because there was not like a pressure, you have to become a musician, but there was the offer, this is music, do you like it, do it. It had to come from the child, and I think that was a really healthy approach, and for me the right thing.
You and your family, you can have a whole orchestra.
Yes,
Yeah.
though most of my siblings prefer non-classical music. Yeah, they
Oh.
make electronic music or
Wow, so very
yes.
diverse.
Yes,
Yeah.
and proud of it.
You have studied music. What did you study and where?
Yes, I studied orchestra conducting in the University of Music Franz Liszt in Weimar, in the center of Germany. Quite a small town, but with an incredible cultural heritage. Johann Sebastian Bach was there, then Franz Liszt, the 2 huge German poets, Goethe and Schiller. And it has a really, really good conducting course that is very praxis orientated. So you started studying there, and right away you would also work with professional orchestras and so on. Yeah, really thankful for that. That was a very good time.
And did you study anywhere else? Because I think I read that you went to the USA.
Yes, but I didn't study there. I was just part of an exchange program. But I spent time there at the Jacob School of Music in Indiana, in Bloomington. Also a great place, and I was there for several weeks. Was a wonderful time. They gave me I had my own house on the campus, where usually some professors would stay, which was for me back then was crazy, because it was a sistership between our academy and that academy, and I was the first one to go. Yeah, and I enjoyed that very much. An incredible campus there. They have, I think, 5 student orchestras on the campus, so music is everywhere. They have a stage for the singers to train that has the same measurements as the Met in New York.
Wow.
So it's phenomenal. A building from the 60s, brutalist building, all beton. Concrete is the English word. Wonderful, amazing campus, really, yeah.
So the approach was a bit different from America and Europe.
Yeah, I would say so. It's a completely different style of teaching even. I even would go so far to say that the style of music making is kind of different. I would say in Europe it's more, in America it's almost perfect in the first rehearsal. There is some different approach to this, that it has to be perfect, that everyone has to be already on the spot in the first rehearsal. That is wonderful, and that is amazing if you have a little time. Though in Europe, I feel like you start more like it's everything a bit chaotic in the beginning, and so, but then you can go deeper into it because of that. Because you really put it together from often you really start from scratch together and then build it and then people get involved, and there is a difference to that. You have often also more time in Europe with it. Yeah.
Did you ever have a mentor that you really looked up to, or like that really changed your life or motivated you to do something different?
Yeah, several. I had really great teachers, starting from my piano teachers when I was still in elementary school, and up to my conducting teachers. One of them was already a pensioner when I started, so he was doing this in his free time. To this day, he is maybe the most important, because he didn't only teach conducting; he taught how to behave with an orchestra, and how to speak with a big group of people, and in a respectful way, not in an authoritarian way, but in a decisive way at the same time. It was always like these people, it is an incredible privilege to have 60, 70 people sitting there waiting for you to tell them what's going to happen next, and to respect that. That's just one aspect of the things he taught me.
Did you ever have like problems when somebody maybe didn't listen to you because you were younger than them and they didn't respect you, or is it not a problem in the theater?
Certainly not when making music. In other parts of life, maybe sometimes. But I think what matters is the approach and what you want. If you say the things you say because you want this to become better, and that's it. And you know what to say, that's also important, of course. And maybe also to not forget that you are younger than many people, and to have that in mind. Then you usually don't have this problem. No.
So how do you handle like stressful situations when someone makes a mistake or does something wrong, and how do you change that? What do you do then?
Also first of all, it's not a stressful situation if someone makes a mistake. That's just normal, and I'm paid to fix that. I'm paid to try to make things better than they are. So that's my job, and part of it. I mean, stress is part of life, but it is more outside of the rehearsals that I feel stress. It's more the things about, around it, that everything goes right, that everything is taken care of and thought of, and so. But I have to say, to live close to the sea where you can dive in, and that is a huge stress release.
Do you have some routines before the performances that you do usually?
Yes, but they vary, because by now it's so many performances. Often it's really like, this week we do West Side Story, next week we do Manon, Lescaut, the week after I'm conducting Nabucco. So it's really like an everyday business at the same time. I'm always trying to remember before the performance the privilege. And what helps me is the process of getting dressed is certainly super important for me, to take off the everyday clothes, put on the things that you wear only on stage, to put on the cufflinks and so. And in this process, when I'm wearing the frack, putting on the tie, binding it, and so these things are setting the mood, and I think this is also a reason why I'm a big fan of this formality of clothes on stage. Especially on stage in the pit, I'm often just wearing a black shirt, but still I'm using the cufflinks. And so, because it has a psychological effect of like, now is a different situation. Now you leave the office behind. Now what you do is for the music.
So do you prepare some different operas at the same time, or is it just one that you do? Like as an example, you have like the performance on next Sunday, and do you do another operas at the same time?
For example, this week in the morning I'm rehearsing Manon Lescaut, and in the evening we rehearsed West Side Story. And tomorrow I'm having a big rehearsal of Manon Lescaut in the morning and a show of West Side Story in the evening. Yeah. And in between meetings.
You always do stuff like that, or is this?
It depends on the time. I mean, we are a big theater. We are not only the opera. We have the ballet. We have the Hrvatska drama, Talijanska drama. There's lots of different things. So certainly when one of the drama ensembles is preparing a premiere, then before that time, naturally our program is slowing down a little bit, so there's more time on the stage for them. So it varies. At the moment, is I think as intense as it gets. But also, of course, as I told you in the beginning, you start working on a piece very early on. So in between, I'm also thinking of, then the project that is gonna be in a few months, or getting the score for this, going through the score maybe once, listen to some recordings that one should have heard before doing the piece, and so
What's your favorite opera that you ever did?
That's a very difficult question because there are so many very good ones. I think Don Giovanni is one of them. Mozart's Don Giovanni. Definitely Tosca for me also. It is a reappearing title in this podcast so far. And then Wagner's Tristan and Isolde. We did this here in Rijeka. Also when we did the Rheingold, Das Rheingold was also incredible, wonderful to conduct. Yeah, there are many. Yes.
Is there a particular opera that you would like to conduct in the future?
All the ones I just said again, and some that I didn't do yet. Yes, for example, Turandot, which we will do later this season. Figaro I didn't do by Mozart. Also Idomeneo by Mozart. Wagner, the whole ring cycle. So Rheingold, Walküre, Siegfried, Götterdämmerung. That's an incredible concept of an opera. It's called, the whole opera is 4 days. Yeah. So you have one evening, then the next evening you have the follow-up, the sequel, prequel, and sequel. And then you have 2 days break, then the next one, 2 days break, the next one. So the whole week is going to be, for the audience, it's an incredible journey. It's basically what Breaking Bad or so is to our generations, is what this ring cycle used to be to them. And you still can do it now, and it's next level, I can tell you this. I did both a ring cycle and Breaking Bad. Ring cycle is next level.
And why did you choose to come to work in Rijeka? Why Rijeka?
Because Rijeka happened. I have to say, it happened, and I fell in love. And that it happened in the first place was more coincidence. Yeah, I won this competition in Zagreb, and because of that, I was invited to conduct a concert here as part of that competition, and it so happened that the orchestra and the theater was looking for a permanent conductor to come here. And so there were many coincidences that led to this, but it's not a coincidence that I'm here already 5 years now. So I'm very happy to be here.
Are you trying to speak the language? Do you know something in Croatian yet?
Pa naravno. Možemo dalje na hrvatskom.
Wow. Did you learn somewhere or just by talking to people?
Yeah, I learned like a child, just picking up a word at a time. Yeah.
Nice.
But now I can really follow conversations really, I would say, well. And when it's not too complicated, I can also engage in Croatian. Yes. For example, with our neighbor, it's her English is like my Croatian maybe, and then we communicate in a mix.
You meet in the middle.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's it for this first podcast. Thank you for speaking with us, and thank you for everything. We hope to see your opera, and that's it.
Thank you very much.